Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of DeathStryke Media's Force Friday show. It is Friday, and we're talking some Star Wars as per usual, what the calendar tells us to do. My name is James Waddington. Down the very far, we got James Armstrong and Smacked, and between us, we've got Sean Sharp. And of course, how are you doing today, James?
Doing quite well. Just a nice, quiet day off, and very happy to be here.
Excellent. How about you, Sean?
Of course, better than I deserve.
Of course. Of course.
And you, sir?
Not bad. I don't know if you guys can tell with the previous videos of this video, we've got some new lighting. We actually got a studio lighting kit, so that was very nice.
Slowly building.
Yeah, slowly building our little piece of the empire that is YouTube. You know, we're professionals here. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Just kicking it back, about to go to the beach for a weekend.
There you go.
Oh, very nice. What about you? You got anything planned?
I'm actually gonna have company this weekend. My mother is visiting,
Nice.
so I have not seen her in a few months. So I'm gonna enjoy a quiet weekend off, catching up with the mom.
That's always good. Moms are good. Moms are good to have.
Mm.
Especially my mom. She's a real badass.
To each their own.
I'm biased, obviously.
No, I see my mom every other weekend just because of babysitting. So
There you go.
free babysitting.
Free babysitting.
It's
Always
good.
remember that, kids. Free
Free,
babysitting.
yeah. Be nice to your parents as you're growing up because you get free babysitting. That's how that works. At least that's how we do it. Anyway, if you're new to the show, welcome, and if you're a returning patron of ours, welcome back as well. How the show works is we have a handful of Star Wars stories. Bunch of handfuls. We've got multiple handfuls of Star Wars stories. We simply run them down and talk about them. But of course, what happened today is I prepared the show notes yesterday. I sent them out, and of course, an awesome story drops today. And I was like, well, okay, we'll just do this one improv. So today, what happened? We had Dave Filoni went out on the Twitters and the Facebooks, and he posted a sketch that he's done with Ahsoka, a wolf, and an owl. And on the sketch, it says, next to Ahsoka, not a wolf. The wolf says wolf, and the owl says owl, with really no explanation of what is what. And we kind of figured why he did that because there's lots of speculation on whether Ahsoka was killed by Vader, and maybe she turned into a wolf in this next series because we see Ezra and the team riding these wolves. And of course, Dave Filoni loves his wolves, so that kind of was a good thing for Filoni to have in this series. So. But this kind of makes it like she's not a wolf or an owl. Is she still alive as the way we left her before the Vader fight? Or is she going to be something completely different? James, I'm going to give this one down to you. What do you think happened to Ahsoka, and if she's actually going to be the Ahsoka we remember, or something completely different?
I really got nothing on this one, to be honest with you. I have a lot to say on the first official story, but I'm just like everything you said is going right over my head.
Okay,
So
how about you?
I'm just gonna let
me.
But I know you two have a lot of opinions on this. So I'm just gonna sit back and watch you guys.
Yeah,
discuss it.
feel free to send a hate mail. The
Nice
issue.
stack shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Well, he's a Dallas Cowboy, but he's also a Star Wars character.
That's also true. Yeah.
fair enough. Lots of issues. She cannot be the Ahsoka that she was in the duel.
I agree.
Because there's just a physicality aspect. Maybe she has the ability of taking different forms. Maybe she's a Force ghost. Maybe she can interact with animals. All those things I see as a possibility, considering some of the hints and clues in the past. But also, once again, I know I keep bringing this up, guys, the pathos and ethos of the storyline. It is better that she's in a transitory state,
Yeah.
but then raises the question: did she cross over as a Force ghost and a different form of Force ghost?
That's an interesting theory. I wouldn't see why not. Star Wars can go any direction right now, especially because they kind of are redeveloping that whole Force theory guideline or whatever they're calling it. Because once a Jedi dies, a good Force user has the ability to become a Force ghost as long as they're taught how to do it. That's what we learned in the Clone Wars with Yoda going to Dagobah, and before that we had Qui-Gon learning how to do it first, but he couldn't actually embody. He could only be a voice. And then Yoda kind of perfected it, became the Force Ghost, and of course Anakin at the end of Return of the Jedi, you see him turn into a Force Ghost. So there's some weird speculation on how that works, and they kind of go into it further in some of the books and how that kind of works. But they're also rewriting a bunch of the old canon to make it fit more adapt. They're going to adapt it more for modern times, I guess you can call it, but
Kind of retconning
retconning it,
going forward.
yeah, making it go in a different direction, maybe for better stories or more stories going down the line. But I do like the way you're thinking. Maybe she comes back as something else, not just maybe a wolf or an owl or something. Maybe it's something physical, but something like more powerful than a Force ghost type thing. Something who can actually possess animals or possess something else.
Oh, so
That'd be
the
interesting.
thing with the Bendu, you know.
Yeah, the Bendu brought up a whole bunch of cool stuff.
You know, it brought up the whole thing. It's like, you know, basically it's a thin line between, you know, Jedi mind trick and Jedi mind control.
Yeah,
And
very
so,
thin line.
very thin line for her to also take over. Like, that's why I can see her using animal avatars or something. But like I said, I don't see her being the same.
Yeah.
Because, sorry, you know, the quote Shakespeare, you shrug off this mortal coil, your whole aspect changes. You're no longer bound by certain things.
Yeah.
So I can see her as a new and improved version, quote unquote, of a Force ghost, one that can interact much more than, say, Qui-Gon or even Yoda or anyone else in the past.
Yeah, Obi-Wan.
Or even Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Use the Force.
It's kind of odd that we've never gotten a Qui-Gon Force Ghost. Yes, even though he's kind of implied in Episode 3 to be the one who got the hang of that ability.
He never finished studying how to do it.
Okay.
They kind of go into that a little bit in the Clone Wars series.
Mm.
So
Which is on my Netflix list now.
you should watch it. It's good.
It is good.
They kind of tell him how like he discovered it through other means of learning and education about the Force, and even Yoda didn't know how to do it. But he didn't perfect it before he was cut down by Maul, and so he was only able to come back as a voice for whatever reason. And Yoda figured it out. He had to go through all these trials, go to Dagobah, and learn how to do it that way. And that's how he learned it. That's why he was on Dagobah as well, is to learn that. So that's why we don't see a Force ghost of Qui-Gon. So covering that real fast. But no, I'm agreeing. I like the way you're thinking on it. As much as I would love to have Ahsoka come back as Ahsoka, I think that ship has sailed, and I think Filoni really did want to kill her off. I think that was his goal, is to have a beloved character and just have her this epic battle. She kicks some ass. She banged Vader up quite a bit, but have her go out in glory and in battle the way a good warrior would go out. I kind of like your thinking on that, coming back as something different than just a regular Force ghost, but not actually a physical being.
Right.
I kind of like that idea.
I think she was always seen as fulcrum, whereas Hera, it's no mistake picking the name Hera, for the pilot of the ship, the owner of the ship. But Fulcrum was kind of always maybe the spiritual backbone.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, and so that would fit into a story arc and a writer's view of what the character really is.
Yeah, I agree.
So that also allows the writers going forward to return focus back to the original Rebels cast.
Yeah, because it was she came up in the second not the season, volume 2, but season 2.
Right.
She came up in season 2, and it was sort of like, oh, she's back. And then by the end of season 2, I think her character arc was a perfect character arc. She appears, she helps them, she faces her demon of Vader and of her former master Anakin, who she loved dearly as a master, and just had an epic battle. And Vader came out on top like he was supposed to. So,
again, he's supposed to be Vader. He's supposed to be the bad.
He's supposed to be the bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the first unofficial story, because it was just to say pop-up story that I really want to talk about. Because who doesn't love Ahsoka? I'm not wearing my Ahsoka shirt today, but I have two of them.
Kind of on that note, I'd like to give a shout out to Dak Prescott, who is going to be apparently looking into getting his PhD in psychology. So
I read that.
Yeah, very, very, very welcome news. I'm glad he's still continuing with education. It's a good model for other athletes in the NFL, and I look forward to Dr. Dak leading the Cowboys to great things.
That's okay. Dallas Cowboys is okay.
We are in Texas, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Making the official first story of the Force Friday show, we have a bit of melancholy news about the untitled episode 9 movie directed by Colin Trevorrow. He kind of goes on to an interview with Cineblend that talks about having to make episode 9 without Carrie Fisher. He goes on to say, she was a major character. There was no secret. She really was. And it was extremely sad for all of us, mostly because she was so well beloved by the Star Wars family and everyone that worked with her. I feel like our options are limited mostly by ourselves and what there is, and that there is only certain things that we are all willing to do. But I can guarantee you to be handled with love and respect, and that all of the soul of Carrie and the love and respect and all of the soul that Carrie Fisher deserves. I stumble every time I do quotes. That's crazy. Anyway, what are your thoughts on how Lucasfilm will handle the continued Leia story, seeing how we now know she was supposed to be like the centerpiece of Episode 9? I'm gonna finally give it to you, James.
There we go.
What's your opinion on this
Something I can talk about.
That's right.
Well, I think one of our previous shows we covered the topic of them ruling out doing a digital version of Carrie Fisher, which is the right call.
I think so too.
And I think you were the first one to mention the idea that they might recast. And I feel like
for
that's
our show, I was the first to mention it. I've heard it other places, but yes, I can.
Okay. Trying to throw you a bone here, man.
Hey, I'll give credit where credit's due.
There we go. But like, I was wondering that they would just maybe save footage from The Last Jedi and carry that over.
I'm sure they shot some.
9.
I would imagine they shot some, because you don't just shoot one location, especially when you know that character's going to be there for the next film, without shooting it at the same time. At least that would make sense filmmaking-wise. I know they do that stuff all the time, where they go, well, we got to go back here for this shoot, but why didn't we film it then?
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's why you have script runners that they will point out, hey, we're in this location. Let's do
but
it
at
now.
the same time, the script for Episode 9 hasn't been written yet.
Yeah.
So they say.
So they say.
So
anyway,
she's done with her filming for Last Jedi, or she finished her filming for Last Jedi before she passed.
Yeah.
And the script is still being worked on, so they're going to have time to think this over.
Yeah.
And give it time. Let her performance in The Last Jedi shine as they should, and then I suppose they'll move forward to the well, I won't call it controversial, but they'll move gently into the spot where they can recast.
I think, and I do believe that is the right call. Because as long as you handle it with the care and love and attention that it desires, although everyone's a Carrie Fisher fan, because you can't replace Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
You cannot.
That's the
replace
hard thing.
What the fans of the series and of the films and of the books and of the character of Princess Leia deserve to have that story told on screen. Not in a book where just people who only read books get it. But the casual fans who love Leia in the movies need to see that character arc finish out on screen, however they decide to do it.
And
I think recasting is going to be the best bet. And
But will it be recasting with like digital effect?
I don't think so.
No. I think that they've effectively rolled that out, and
I think they're going to find someone who looks very similar. She's not. She's a very unique person, so it's going to be challenging. But you can do a lot with makeup.
I was wondering if I was going to bite my tongue on this, because I hate to be one of those folks just put a name forward.
No, go ahead.
If you want someone,
go ahead.
I mean, this might be an easy call. I don't think you need to be a casting director to mention this particular name. And when I say the name, you'll know why. You need someone with damn good, impeccable acting chops, but a great sense of humor and a long tenure of giving great performances.
Someone who's not afraid to speak her mind.
Someone who's not afraid to speak their mind. And I don't know if you could do any better than Meryl Streep, in my humble opinion.
I would not be opposed to that idea.
Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, because again, I think we should let Carrie Fisher's performance in The Last Jedi shine, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
And let's just honor her final film before we get too heavy into the inevitable.
I just don't want her death to be off screen somewhere, going, oh yeah, she was on that planet that got destroyed.
Yeah.
She deserves better than that.
Yes.
In my opinion. How about you?
I don't think they could pull off an off-death screen. I think there'd be too much outpouring of hate.
Yeah.
Because she is a character that's been there, as part of American pop culture, world culture, for 40 years.
Yeah.
So I don't really see her like Shaw from Aliens, dying off screen. We never
spoiler.
But the issue, like with Meryl Streep, mentally, I can see I'm being serious, with prosthetics and makeup, she could probably pull it off. It's either that, or hopefully, in my mind, is that they have a relative. I mean, she is a Hollywood. She's an old school Hollywood family.
Yeah, I know her daughter Billie Lourd is cast in the film, but I think if she doesn't have a big role in 9, to use her in 9 as Leia.
Like
Yeah.
use her character. Well,
Use Billy
her
Lord as Leia
because
it's her daughter. And
it's-
how awesome would that be for the daughter to finish out the mother's work?
it'd be awesome for like movie geekdom, but
Yes.
also keep in mind similar
Oh.
bone structure, and it's easier to age up than it is to age down
Also true.
or sideways. So taking a younger person and making them look like an older person is much easier in Hollywood effects than vice versa from the others. So that may be a really great route to grow. That's what I was thinking. Since the Fisher family, you know, it's Hollywood elites, they have tons of people in the industry.
They do.
And you
In
know,
fact, I know a guy who's related to one of them. So
oh,
yeah.
yeah. I was like, yeah. He told me, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm related to Carrie Fisher. I'm like, how? So he wrote it as like my. I'm like, okay.
It wasn't like Abraham Lincoln's hammer,
No.
Okay.
It was like a second cousin.
second cousin. All right.
Not bad.
should print out the family tree.
Yeah, I should have him on the show, but he's weird, and I don't have him on the show. Keeping with the Carrie Fisher family tradition, a little weird.
It's a little weird. Just keep moving.
Anyway, so that was
Yeah.
more to the point of Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, I can see that. I would really like to see them. I would think it'd be really cool from a movie geek standpoint to get her daughter to do it. But I also know that there's a large family out there that they could probably have a cousin that looks a lot like her.
Yeah.
And is probably acting under another name
Probably.
that we've seen many times and never put two and two together.
Perhaps. I'm sure there's somebody out there who looks like her. I mean,
Mm.
there's someone who looks like anybody out there. So. We will see, but yeah. My opinion is that's what we've been talking, kind of throwing it out there. But recasting is my call. Meryl Streep, I think, is a good choice, mainly because she is a veteran actress. She's a standout actress. She could definitely pull off the role of Leia, and if they had to age her up as a different person, I would still be the same. Even if Carrie Fisher was alive, like Meryl Streep could step in and maybe do like a flash forward scene or something. I don't know.
My fear is that once again knocking you out of the movie.
Yeah, well,
That's always my fear.
but there's still no one can replace Carrie Fisher as Leia.
Yeah.
And
True.
I don't think,
Fair enough.
as long as they don't handle it like, as long as I know they're gonna do this, handle it with class and respect, like as the director will maybe come out and say, we have a lot of respect for the character of Leia, and we really want to show you her story arc. Please help us and welcome so and so as Leia to help finish out the story. Kind of how they did it with the Dr. Panassus and the Imaginary. What's that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imaginarian.
Heath Ledger's
Yeah,
final.
exactly. And they had like 4 or 5 people come in and play Heath Ledger's part as sort of to finish out that character in that movie, as the respect those actors had for him. I think it'd be very similar in circumstance. I know it's a bigger film, but it's sort of on that same line.
Yeah, same concept.
Same concept. I think they could pull it off remarkably well.
There you go.
And as long as they give the big benefit or big honor to Carrie Fisher at the end of the movie or before the movie, that'd be cool. Those are my 2 cents on it. Moving forward on our less melancholy topic, we have I would call it loose spoiler rumors. If you didn't see the spoilery thing before when James said spoiler alert for that little alien thing, I'll put one up anyway for this little story here. It's been leaked online that a little video clip of a new biker scout for the Han Solo movie has come out, or has been seen. He's a new-ish trooper, kind of, I say new, but he's old because it's like a prequel, so it's storyline, it's old, anyway. But he's got a new helmet, a new sort of body armor, and a whole new transport. But it's a one single rider. It's more like a blocky sort of, kind of more Mad Max-y things that we've seen before from the Han Solo film, so it's kind of a cool. But this kind of goes back to like how many new type troopers are they going to bring into this universe that we see like once, maybe twice in a movie, and then we don't see them again for the rest of the whole series. I'm going to give this one to you, Sean. How many more different types of troopers are we going to see and then just never going to see again?
As many as they think they can sell pops for.
Pops or any other figures, I
This
guess.
is, I mean, part of the Han Solo film and even any other spin-off is to fill out the universe.
That's true.
And so I think there's always going to be an urge by the producers and the crew to at least do 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me each movie we get 2 or 3 just to make it feel a more real universe. That would be my call.
So like 2 or 3 new types of troopers every
Every
from.
episode. If you look, we had the Death Troopers, we had the Beach Troopers.
We had,
It just kind of falls into that.
we had the new, and of course the new First Order Stormtroopers,
Right.
but their variants of like their flamethrower guys and stuff like that. So I can see that. You do want
TR-8R with his little baton thing.
Yeah, that thing was awesome. But I do like the idea of filling out that universe and having more specialized troopers for different things. Because like military, we have specialized units for different things. We don't just send pilots in to go do espionage work because they're there.
They're there.
We
They're pilots. They do these things.
We send in special guys to go do that who are trained in those fields to be those types of people.
Or
soldiers or troops or whatever.
Whereas in the past you had Hoth, you had snow troopers. That
Yep.
seemed logical.
Yeah,
But you also had a mix with standard stormtroopers. And on let's be honest, on Star Wars or New Hope, you're on a base.
Yeah.
99% of the troops are all going to look alike.
Yeah, when you're on the Death Star, you had, tons and tons and tons of just regular-looking stormtroopers. But again, we had snow troopers, we had sand troopers. Man, we ain't found. Anyway, we had different varieties of different troopers then, but they weren't as noticeable. They definitely fit the environment better.
Mm-hmm.
Like that makes sense. They're snow troopers. Oh, that makes sense. They're dirty because of sand. And then Rogue One, we've got the shore troopers, who are more like, I guess, your casual sort of stormtroopers, because they just had regular pants instead of like all the armor for the legs, and
It's because of chafing, man.
Yeah, I know. It's sand. It gets everywhere. They learned from Vader. They said sand. It gets everywhere. Make sure they wear loose clothing.
They should have a scene in Han Solo movie where the sand troopers are walking back to the base, and then Vader just looks at him and walks away.
It's like you're covered in sand.
Yeah, get out.
I don't want to talk to you.
There's probably a memo somewhere floating around.
How about you, James? How do you feel about that? New troopers entering the Star Wars
Well,
universe that we see once, maybe twice.
But now I can just imagine Darth Vader saying, "I find the amount of sand on you disturbing."
You notice that in Rogue One he didn't set foot on the Citadel Island. There's no sand. He didn't go there.
There we go. But no, kind of picking up from Sean's point, yeah, merchandising.
With the Spaceballs.
Yes, again with the Spaceballs. But no, I think it's cool because I always like how they have a different trooper for every environment, and I like the look of the Death Troopers.
And the biker scouts.
Yeah. The scouts in Rogue One.
And I was talking about the
Also
biker scouts. Jedi. All right.
Yeah. I was gonna mention Rogue One and how I liked the Death Troopers, and in fact, Sideshow Collectibles had a nice figure of them. Luckily, I'm perpetually broke, so I was unable to buy one.
As you can see, I've got 2 new pop figures. The only reason I have 2 new pop figures is because they were on sale. I paid $5 for them a piece. So that's the reason I got more, because they were on sale.
Yeah.
Like you, I'm usually broke, but I am broke for a different reason, because I have a 2-year-old who keeps me, I guess not. Anyway, go on.
Okay. Don't say anything that you'll regret later.
Exactly. That's why I had to bite my tongue.
This is
Luckily, my wife doesn't watch the show.
There you go.
Which is sad. My wife watches the show.
Oh, your wife and my wife talk. That's not good. Anyway, let's keep this show rolling.
No, I avoided watching the leaked video. I'm not a big fan of leaked videos, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in the movie. And picking up from our last show, I hope that they actually keep the wheels and that it's not a hover bike. Let's get some wheeled vehicles in the Star Wars universe, please.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and I would recommend everyone out there not watch any of the behind the scenes or spoilery stuff. Listen to us, or listen to whatever media that you want to listen to. But don't look. It's kind of fun to speculate when you have no idea what it looks like.
Yeah.
So don't look. But I can encourage you not to look, because it is kind of, this is the first really movie I'm following from like leaked footages, and I'm trying not to do that, but it's part of what we're doing here. So I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna ruin this one for myself. But luckily, what you see and what you actually get in the film will be probably completely different.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to see how they take maybe a wheeled vehicle and turn it into a non-wheeled vehicle. I know they do that with special effects, but still, there'll be wheeled vehicles of those same vehicles out there somewhere.
Somewhere.
I think that's a lead into our next topic.
Oh, well. Sure enough.
Yeah.
Nice suggestion of a segue that I awkwardly go, what? No. So, yeah, a nice segue into the next story. You have another fun little Han Solo story coming up. as we've been talking about, they've been doing some filming in the Canary Islands. I'm not going to pronounce it because I never pronounce it right. So
Fuerteventura.
there you go. See,
Fuerteventura.
yeah, there you go. That's that place. There's
I think
actually
he's related to Jesse Ventura.
Dun, dun, yeah.
we just lost 27 subscribers.
Right there, right there. That cost us right there.
But we'll pick up all the Predator fans.
That's true. We should. All three of them. Anyway, so there was a Star Wars fan who just happened to be in the area that they were filming. I'm pretty sure he knew that they were filming there because, like me and everyone else who still follows Star Wars, and kind of knew that they were filming there. That's been available online for quite a while. Anyway, this fan by the name of Lawrence Thesbian. Thank you.
Is that his profession or his last name?
That's just what it said on the
name
line.
is. You think he's using his real name?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
You read my mind.
Stumbled loosely across the Han Solo film set on the island, and was able to kind of scope out what was going on. There was no actors on set yet. They haven't finished building the sets yet. This was in the week of Easter weekend. So this is a few weeks ago. When was Easter? March this year? Anyway, March, April-ish.
Sure.
Anyway, so it was a little while ago before the actors got there, before they really got the set built. So he is able to take some photos of the set pieces, nothing really built yet. Some cargo containers full of set pieces, and sort of the security perimeter around the area of where they were filming. And he was noted that there was about a 200-yard area that was bulldozed completely flat, what hadn't been touched. So, and there were some trailers that were air-conditioned trailers, probably for the cast, that were not being used at the time. They were still kind of huddled together. And some other like really weird details. So like, oh yeah, there's a shipping container there. Got some parts, maybe a moisture evaporator over there. Something that was obviously there for Star Wars. But the most significant thing that was noted that came out right after this part of the story that he noted is the security now in place at the film site. So not only do they have just the regular perimeter fencing, they have a no-fly zone of 7,500 feet and under, that makes sense for drone purposes. You gotta think of 3D now, getting your cameras out there. Armed security, foot patrols day and night, and ATV patrols day and night, constantly. I'm gonna give this one to you, Sean, since you have a similar, a background knowledge of this. What do you think of the House of Mouse precautions they're taking with this movie?
Well, I have two feelings. One, the level of security. I mean, we've had presidents that haven't had this level of security. Let's be honest. Of late, makes you wonder how much money is being dropped there, and when the House of Mouse arrives, how big is the briefcase they open and slide to whoever's in charge
of that island.
That island. See that
in the national park, that is, because they're filming on
a national park. National parks are supposed to be open to the public, but now they're armed patrols. There are people like and a no-fly zone, which I know with the advent of drones and all that is something that we really have to consider.
That's 7,500 feet.
That's just amazing.
That's a long way. That's what? Yeah, 2,600 feet in a mile. It's 2 miles.
Yeah, but I could still see someone going up in a hot air balloon with a chance of a telephoto lens. You could still see someone trying.
Hot air balloon.
But I mean,
no, not that way. You can't shoot it down.
You could,
but you'd be a complete nut job to do that, because no one wants to be that guy. Like, what'd you do? I shot down the hot air balloon. Woohoo! Wait, you shot down what?
What? Yeah, you can't write that off very easy.
No, you can't. Can't say it was an accident.
Once again, it shows.
I guess it could.
For all now, the reason why
Disney has a cover story in place.
I'm sure they do.
It's a secondary briefcase.
We love you, Disney, but seriously.
It's like Mr. Thespian. Yes, I do believe that's an alias because I have an image of like mouse head-shaped concrete shoes. If they find this guy. Or with my terrible, cynical, and sardonic nature, I see this as another planted story that's been purposely leaked as a tool to keep the hype up. Now, remember, guys.
And a tool to keep the press out.
Right.
By the way, there's no fly zone. We mean business.
It's kind of like a two-edged sword. It's warding everyone away and yet giving you something.
Yeah. Because there's no real spoilers in this quick set visit. It's just we're talking about security features in place and the shipping containers that
Right.
how it's set.
But the security, the issue of letting everyone know about the level of security is like giving someone a cannon. And it sounds like a really random thing. If you're giving out cannons, you obviously have a lot of them.
Yeah.
And if you can have that level of security and that fly clearance, it's like, try me. Try me. I will sue you and your company and your families and your descendants into oblivion.
Yep.
So,
No, I get it.
that's how I see it.
Yeah. No. How about you, James?
Yeah, I got well. First off, I'm glad you mentioned that they have trailers with AC on them or with them. I'm sure that the cast of the original film wish they had those in Tunisia when they filmed back in 1976.
No doubt. Yeah. Did you see that behind-the-scenes photo of the guy with the boom mic in the super tight, small pink shorts and no shirt?
I didn't, but look that up.
Yeah. No one wants to be that guy.
Oh man.
The 70s when men wore shorts
That were well above the knee.
Oh yeah, 1970s.
Yeah.
Not the best era for fashion.
Right, on anybody.
But I don't know. I would only recommend that they replace the foot patrols and 4x4s with AT-ATs. I think that'd be really cool.
Remote control AT-ATs. That'd even be even better.
Yeah, come on. Let's
drone X-wings.
Yeah, dress up the security.
Ooh, yeah.
I also think they should take that prisoner carrier from Rogue One that we see Jen on in the movie.
Which
and
actually is a tank from the Clone Wars that was been converted, or troop carrier from the Clone Wars has been converted.
Yeah, use that as a real mobile prison to capture people in and take them away from the set. Yeah. Well, let's have some fun here as we try to save people from spoiling movies that they will like.
No, for the record, the problem is with sweaty fanboys, they would want to be captured just so they go,
Sure.
I got the ride upon.
Good experience.
They could be filming, and right about now, the X-Wing drone's going to shoot me with a tranquilizer dart.
There it is!
There it is!
Dunk!
I'm complete!
No, that's probably true. That'll probably happen.
See?
But at the same time, though,
but they get a fun Star Wars experience,
They
and
do.
we don't get any more set leaks, and everyone wins.
yeah, you get banned from Disney parks for life.
Oh, go to Universal.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. I've been to Universal. It's actually not a bad place. But what also something that was really interesting that in the story is it's the Lucasfilm has to go back and basically make the area as if they had never arrived.
Right.
So they have to go back and bulldoze and make everything exactly how it was, which is kind of a cool thing that's in the contract because it is a national park for them. So I thought that was kind of a cool.
No,
Yep. And I tell the men to comb the desert. Comb the desert.
Have you found anything? Man, we ain't found.
Geeking out here just a little bit. But that's actually really cool, especially this is the age of environmental awareness. But most people don't know that was actually a very common practice in Western films here in the United States.
Leave them or just leave them after you build the set, leave the set?
Lots of times leave the set, but they also had to do tree planting.
Oh, okay.
So
I know some of the set pieces from A New Hope are still out there.
Yeah,
Really?
And John Wayne's Alamo is still out there.
Yeah, that's not here in
Texas.
Yeah, the one in Texas is here. Both of them, I think they both filmed both the remake and the new one here.
Yes, they did.
And I think that Alamo is also still up.
Yeah, the funny thing is,
and the one in San Antonio.
the real one, Ozzy, we're still looking at you.
He's been invited back by the city of San Antonio. So.
Well, side note, I also know that the compound, the Arctic compound, that was the set for John Carpenter's The Thing is still standing somewhere in British Columbia.
Is it really?
And like a decade and a half ago, some really diehard fans went out there and like trekked through the snow to find it and just took some souvenirs from the set. I would love to do a pilgrimage like that one day. It'd be amazing.
Cool. I'm from Texas.
Yeah. But it's
not that I'm opposed to cold. I love cold weather, but that's commitment.
Yeah, but we are built to tolerate heat.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I would like to go to Tunisia. I think if I was going to do a movie set.
Don't pull me and say Tanzania.
Tunisia. I think if I was going to do a movie set visit, I've already visited a bunch of old ones. That would be the one. That
started it all.
That's iconic.
The arch is still there. For the Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
Entrance for Mos Eisley. That's still out there. Yeah. All right. It's crumpled and broken, but it's still there. But,
very cool.
Moving on, we've got some Funko news.
Funko.
As you can see, I am a fan. Only when I find deals or I really want it. Anyway, so coming up we have San Diego Comic-Con. That's the biggest comic book convention, I think, in the world, or at least in the United States. It's huge. It's massive. If you've never been, good luck trying to get tickets because they're usually sold out 2 or 3 years in advance.
I have a friend who went there last year, and he was on like a 3 to 4 year waiting list.
I'm on that wait list. I've been on that wait list since last year. I went to San Diego Comic-Con before it became San Diego International Comic-Con.
Right.
You lived there. I lived in San Diego, and it was before I got big, and I got to meet a lot of cool comic book artists, like the artist who did at the time the Sonic the Hedgehog book. I was a little kid, mind you. I was in elementary school, so Sonic the Hedgehog to me was cool. Met him, and I met a bunch of other people. The Sonic one is the only one I remember. But as with modern merchandising, kind of like exactly what they did last year and what they did at San Diego Comic-Con last year and what they did at Celebration this year. They have exclusives. Pop has exclusives like they like to do. And for Comic-Con this year, they have a couple of Star Wars exclusives. We've got Bodhi Rook, which is kind of a cool guy. I like the pilot. He is the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
We have the pilot. We have the tank trooper, which we're still trying to give this guy away. This is a tank driver. We're going to have a pop version of this guy.
We are trying to give you things.
And then we have a holographic Snoke, the Snoke that we see in Force Awakens. He's actually a bigger figure. He's like a 6-inch figure, which is kind of a cool thing. So it's like, keep thinking he's going to be a small guy. And they probably was going to be the most popular set. It's going to be a holographic Leia and an R2. Of course, that kind of gives us, a throwback to A New Hope, where we have Leia as a hologram in front of Obi-Wan and Luke saying, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. But it also kind of gives you the feels for passing of Carrie Fisher and the passing of Kenny Baker. I'm going to give this one back to you, James. How do you feel about that? Like seeing those two get together in a package deal for a toy. Feelings about like maybe we're never going to see the original actor for R2 again. We're never going to see Carrie Fisher again. But it's kind of nice to have them in a nice together. Like, do you think that was marketing on purpose? Besides, outside thinking of.
I don't think it's related to their death. I mean, it's.
Thank you. I was like, how am I going to phrase that without being?
Well, it's a adorable pop vinyl, and it's a seminal part of movie history. It's the hologram Leia and R2, and I'm glad that they paired them together. As soon as I saw that photo, I just thought adorable.
Yeah, it's super cute. I love the way they did Leia, and the R2 is very stylized. Yeah. Exactly how pop figures have been doing on their work. It's very stylized, really good-looking toys. So.
I'm glad you found the story because I almost emailed it to you because I saw the headline with the lead being that Snoke was getting his pop vinyl, and I know you like your Snoke trivia.
Snoke? Oh, well, not really trivia, but my Snoke theory is
theory trivia.
Yeah, he's a little tiny guy. He's super oily in a little tiny ship. No, don't get me. he's a greased up deaf guy from Family Guy, but he's small.
I would only add that I only have one actual pop vinyl, and I think I've covered this before. The reason I hold back is because I feel guilty if I take them out of the box. They look good in the box.
Why do you think they're still in the box?
Exactly. But I do hope that that they have a selection of those mystery mini.
The blind boxes.
Those are awesome. Yeah. I try to stay away from gambling, but my God, I do I don't overbuy, but I try to be selective. But I got hooked on buying this last set that they had for horror movies. Yeah, they were so cool. They had Freddy Krueger, Jack Nicholson from The Shining Twins. I still haven't found the Patrick Bateman one. That one is very rare. It was like $40 on eBay, and again, I'm perpetually broke, so I haven't gotten it yet. But if they introduce a Star Wars type for the mystery mini, I would kind of avoid using cuss words, but I would buy a ton of those.
No, that makes sense. I'll probably end up trying to find one, and I won't pay more than the actual price of the toy because there's no point. I'm not going to sit there and spend a ton of money on a figure I'm never going to open.
Right.
And everything that's on my desk right now will eventually be my child's. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of money on it. But that being said, I want it because it looks fantastic, and it's Leia and it's R2, and it's one of the best scenes and most memorable scenes in A New Hope. You have Leia and you have
Right.
R2.
Yeah.
You see Leia at the beginning of the film give R2 the Death Star plans, and later on we see him with Obi-Wan and Luke, and the sort of adventure they have because of that one message from Leia. How about you, Sean? Is this something that you would maybe buy if you had to buy a pop figure?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. I'm sorry.
I said maybe.
The figurines really, I'm sure they're fine products. They're just
They're
not my
bobbleheads.
They're not my style. Bobbleheads throw me off. I don't know what it is. They throw me off.
I didn't know they were bobbleheads for so long, but they kind of move their heads a little bit.
Yeah, that really. I don't know if I walk into a room and something's moving, it creeps me out.
That's why they live in the box.
Stay in the box.
There's something to be said in good marketing for boxes.
But you know, they are well done. Even I will recognize that they're very well done, very stylized, and to me, I see Asiatic influence like out of Japan.
Oh, I see that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
maybe on the anime side.
A little on the anime side, and I do like that imagery.
It's the big eyes.
Yeah, it's the big eyes.
It's the big eyes, and the big head. You know, no, I'm just not a figurine guy. Even when figurines first came out with Kenner. You know,
like the kind of action figures for.
I think I got it out of my system because there's a bunch of kids in the house, and they weren't going to buy one kid a Star Wars action figure because that meant every kid in the house was going to have to get one. So
that if you did have one, your siblings would steal it from you, and then it would no longer be yours.
Well, actually, one of my siblings reenacted the death of Obi-Wan Kenobi by like melting him with a can of aerosol.
And a lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got creative.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So
nowadays, that would probably worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, right there. But you don't know.
You don't. When you're a kid, you have no concept of holding on to things for value.
Right.
You want to open it. You want to play with it. You want to now. And my child's that way. It's like as soon as he gets something, open it. Yeah,
Sure.
okay, open it. But again, all of these will be my child's, and at some point, whenever he realizes he shouldn't just snap things in half. Toys need to be played with. I think that's
why you need to buy two of each.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. I'll enjoy them while they're here, and then when they're gone, they're gone.
See, the only time I fell into that was with Lord of the Rings. It's really
You had the glasses.
I got the mugs.
Yep.
Now,
I have one of those mugs.
Getting a chance to eat fast food. Yes, I'm a fat bastard. Getting a chance to eat fast food on a regular basis played into me getting these mugs. It was a double reward, but
you had the whole set, didn't you? You had doubles of the whole set.
I had multiples of the set.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you remember, I gave them away at I think it was like near New Year's party or something. I gave them away as trivia gifts.
Yeah, I got one, and I got two. No, I have two of them, because Val got one. And she doesn't know how to use it. I have two.
See, my thing is that I would look at them and I want to use them.
Yeah, we've used ours.
And I'm terrified of anything I like breaking.
Yeah, well, when you gave them out to us, they're still in the box
Mm-hmm.
from wherever restaurant they're from. I remember that. That's why we have them. Anyway, we're gonna move it on because that was just a fun little topic for pop figures. As we had some on the desk, so might as well cover them. And it's an exclusives. The exclusives are fun to talk about.
Pop, reach out to us. Feel free to sponsor us. We love your products. We love the line.
More pop figures will be featured if that's the case. No. Moving on, we'll go into spoilers now here. We'll see the spoiler sign go up, but we've got some spoiler details for Supreme Leader Snoke. And actually, I think we'll go right here.
It's going to be here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's going to be here.
Sometimes it's above me, sometimes
That's wherever there's space.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I don't want
I
to.
could shave my head. You could put it right.
Depending
there.
on where the camera is when I look at it in post, it might just be right above your head. But it'll be here somewhere. We're going to look really stupid when I edit this. Anyway. Moving forward onto the spoilery thing, we've got details on the guards for Supreme Leader Snoke. And actually, funny thing, as I wrote this story yesterday, today they actually dropped some actual leaked footage of concept art that was from The Last Jedi, and the ones that were on this story before were all hand drawn from descriptions from an artist who has been working with the guys from the story who have been very accurate in their descriptions and very accurate in their details. But the photo that was leaked out today was an actual concept art from the movie. So I saw it. It's very similar to the guy's drawing, which was kind of a cool thing to see. Like, oh, nice job. Anyway, going the details on these soldiers, on these guards, are So they're going to be like Emperor Palpatine's royal guards. They're going to be red. The only difference is each of the guards are not going to be the same guard. They're going to be have different ornamentations on their garbs, and they're going to each carry different weapons. Some have described some of the weapons as like nunchuck styles, double-bladed fighting sticks, which I'm like, double-bladed fighting sticks? What is a double-bladed? Anyway, technical terms on weapons. It's a weird thing. But each one of these royal guards will have a different weapon, and no one's kind of given a clue why. So speculating on that, there'd also been rumored that these guards will actually have a fighting sequence inside of the Last Jedi movie, which is a very cool concept because we never got to see those old royal guards do anything besides walk with their staff either right behind the Emperor or in Vader's castle when he's in the back of the tank. So we didn't really get to see them do anything. Yes, there were guards there. You have to pay attention, man.
I must have missed them.
Yeah, they were there for like a scene, like a second scene or something. What do you think of the reasons why each of these guards have a different weapon or type of weapon?
Now, I have to throw it, after hearing the description of the weapons, I hope it's not going to be like a Kung Fu movie. It sounds like an elite bodyguard of Kung Fu practitioners.
That's where my mind went too.
But hopefully they do have with them being different with different ornamentations. Generally in a military world, it's usually meaning that you came from a different corps.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's what it means. Instead of I got this from the typing pool. I got this from
That's an ornamentation on for military. As far as ribbons and stuff.
Right.
So
I'm talking about the overall outfits.
Oh, the outfits. Okay.
Yeah,
different
being
types.
different corps.
Okay.
Or different branches. Maybe that's what it's representing. That each branch has an elite guard representing.
So you have like the First Order Navy, the First Order Army, the First Order whatever. Okay.
First Order Sanitation Crew.
Oh, whatever.
No,
Sure.
Put that down.
Yeah. That never diss the sanitation crew. I think we discussed that the last show. How about you, James? Do you have any theories on maybe why the guards have different weapons and maybe the ornamentations on their uniforms?
Nothing really on them having different weapons, but I'm happy that they'll finally get to kick some butt. Yeah, they didn't do anything in Return of the Jedi, and I want to know what all the hype is about, man.
No, I agree. So, I think it was the Darth Vader one. It was which one is it?
Oh, you're trying to reference a book?
Dark Disciple. It was not the Dark Disciple. It was one of the Darth Vader books I might have somewhere. Anyway. It was about Vader and Palpatine have to go on this. They don't really go on an adventure. They
road trip.
They kind of go on an adventure, but it was an unfortunate adventure because they crashed landed on the planet. They got shot down by a resistance group on this planet. I think it was I don't remember the planet name because it's not coming to me. Anyway, they get shot down. And of course, Palpatine knew that this is always going to happen, and so he was basically testing Vader's loyalty to him. But he had his royal guards with him. I mean, going into this book, real fast, and I want to point this out because no one really knows this unless you read the book. One or two of the guards, royal guards in red, were actually clone troopers. They were clones from the Republic who were elite enough to serve Palpatine directly. He only took orders from Palpatine unless Palpatine says, listen to him. What happened? Palpatine's like, listen to Vader, and Vader will give you orders. That's what they did. But they were clone troopers, which I was like, huh.
That's very interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. Because it didn't take place too long after the Clone Wars. It was like 3 years after Anakin got chopped up and became Vader.
Oh, okay.
So it was like about 3 years after that.
Okay. Yeah. When you said that, I was wondering if it was still Chancellor Palpatine. And
No, he was straight up.
Okay, cool.
He was straight up Emperor Palpatine.
I am the Senate.
Exactly. He was that guy. I just want to point that out that they're popping up in the books a little bit here and there. But my own theory on why they have different weapons is maybe because each of them is trained in a different type of Jedi combat. So you have, because each Jedi had a different, not each Jedi, but a lot of Jedis had different fighting styles. Like Ahsoka has two lightsabers, and that's a very particular art. Qui-Gon had his own style, was trained in one. There's like 7 styles of combat for
7
sabers.
major schools.
Schools, yeah. For lightsaber fighting, maybe each one of these guards is trained in a specific way to deal with specific Jedi.
I could see that if your number one group of people that are possibly out to kill you,
Yeah.
you're going to surround yourself with people who specialize in killing them.
That's why, when it's Chancellor Palpatine said, "Oh, he's a Sith Lord. You're no match for him." Obi-Wan says, "Sith Lords are our speciality." Maybe it's reversed at this point in time. It's like, no, we're trained to kill every type of Jedi. These are all the masters of those particular styles of combat to defeat these guys. That's my theory.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the cover story with the whole rise of the Empire was that the Jedi tried to lead a coup. So of course, the Emperor would like to announce or try to maybe boast that he has his own anti-Jedi corps at his disposal.
Yeah. Again, that's my theory on it. And if it turns out to be that way, cool. If not, if it's something completely different, maybe they're all just specialized troopers who have their own different styles of fighting. That's fine too. But I am very happy that they do get to have their own fight scene, or at least some sort of action sequence. They did say action sequence. They didn't say fight scene in the story. Action sequence outside of just walking down a hallway next to Snoke or next to whoever. So I'm looking forward to that. But I think that wraps up all the official stories.
I don't think they were those actual or that type of guard in Episode 3. What was the type of guard that Yoda just knocked down on his way into the Emperor's office? They were Imperial guards?
Yeah, but they're different. They were Chancellor guards.
Yeah,
they're dressed very similarly.
Right.
But they weren't Imperial guards at the time. Or yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, because that was very. I was trying to think. I feel like there was one example of them being in
He just straight up pushes them out of the way. Kind of like what Luke does. He like force chokes those guys in Jedi.
Yeah, it's not so much an action sequence as it is just them falling down.
It's still an action.
It's still falling is an action.
Falling is an action.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a good little scene. It's the one scene in the movie I know it's coming, but I'm always surprised when I see it. You're like, Yoda's gonna play weak, and then he's just gonna unleash hell. But he was the exact match for Palpatine. Like, he couldn't get the upper hand because Palpatine kept running away and getting the high ground. So we always know that is important in Star Wars.
Well, it's also interesting to see them actually, as someone, said, it's been 40 years since I got to do anything. In the old novelizations, they always had kind of this weird shadowy presence.
Yeah.
And everyone always speculated what they were. So hopefully we'll even get more fleshed out in the story.
That'd be nice.
As you said, it's one good thing about Lucas is just don't keep it in the books. Let's put it in the movie.
Yeah, you can have character development of characters that we know and love in books, but keep the main storyline of the main characters in the movies, but have a lot of the other characters that we love in the books to keep some of those expanding the universe. So that's how I see it. Keep the main guys on the screen that we want. Like the casual fan likes Kylo, Rey, Finn, and Poe. Keep their main stories on the big screen and keep all of their minor, quests on the books, the comics, stuff like that. Been playing a lot of Zelda, so quests are in my head.
Quest.
So that's all the official stories we've got. Anybody else got any stories? Star Wars stories, fun stories about Star Wars? Nothing?
Other than the bizarreness of youth where car dealerships used to hire Vader to sell cars. That is just a random tangent fact of the 70s that no one likes to acknowledge, but it did happen.
Oh, they had people in the Vader suits go out and try to sell cars?
Yes.
Nice.
Were they like waving around the signs like they do now? Like
that wasn't a thing back then.
No, that wasn't a thing back then. No, actually,
that's a new thing.
They would go to.
But you get someone in a Darth Maul costume to do that though.
That'd be really cool.
You can have Ray Park do it.
Yeah, like I said, little taste of history there. They would actually go and hire these guys, and then they'd hand out all these flyers back in the day when you had people.
They kind of still do that, but they do it for charity now.
Yeah.
So Star Wars costume groups, Mando Marks, Rebel Legion, 501st, they have that they do for charity, so they can not hire, but be a part of things, and they can donate for charities and stuff. So.
Which is very, very, very cool. It was just, like I said, there's this oddness of the
set. That was before they had the Star Wars groups.
Yeah, that was long before the Star Wars groups. It was just the bizarreness of.
That's kind of how
Vader's at a car dealership.
That's kind of how we view furries nowadays. We're like, you're a furry? Versus back then it's like, you're a Star Wars guy?
Wow, no, don't go that road. Now you're going to be predicting furries become mainstream one day.
Oh, God. Yeah, sorry I said anything. But that's kind of how it seems.
You cursed us, man. You cursed us.
As long as it happens after I'm gone and my children are gone, I have no problems.
And now that I know for sure that pop vinyls are also bobbleheads, it's reminded me. I have a few, like a handful of bobbleheads that I want.
They don't bobble a whole lot, but they do have springs that connect.
Well, I don't have that many bobbleheads. I have one that was gifted to me for Christmas. It's a Teddy Roosevelt Rough Rider bobblehead. That's actually really well detailed and really cool. And I remember watching Kong Skull Island this year, and one of the Huey helicopters has a Richard Nixon bobblehead on there. I thought that was awesome looking. So.
I was watching Minions for the 10,000th time, and Richard Nixon's in it.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, no, I've seen Minions probably a gajillion times because my child, but I know we're off Star Wars, but this is really
obviously
funny.
I remember Queen Elizabeth's in that movie.
Yeah, but it's a small cameo role. Roll. It's the scene where you have a Scarlet Overkill trying to recruit people from the arena, and then you have that really big guy who's wearing the tight pants, black pants, and the mask. He gets up to go, fight her to get the ring or Ruby, and the guy he pushes out of the way is Richard Nixon because he gets up to go too. It's like straight up Richard Nixon. There's no like second guessing that. And remember, this was at what was it? What's the name of that convention of theirs?
The Convention of Villains or something?
Yeah, VillainCon.
VillainCon, there we go.
Yeah. So you have Richard Nixon at VillainCon trying to be the minion or the minion or
Minion leader or something?
No. Yeah, minions. Yeah, that's right. To Scarlet Overkill. So anyway.
That is so Nixon.
Yeah, it was so Nixon.
I love it.
Anyway, let's wrap this show up.
You shout outs, anybody?
Yeah, maybe a quick another shout out to the Nerdist group out there. So if you're not familiar with the Nerdist network, they have like 4 or 5, 6, 7 people who are part of that network. One of the guys from Ain't It Cool News, who's based here in Austin as well, is also part of that network.
Mm-hmm.
They have Because Science. That's the guy who gave a shout out to at the beginning of the show. Great channel to do. That guy covers a lot of fun stuff. Like today, I watched a video on the difference between more deadly X-23's claws are more deadly than Wolverine's claws because of science reasons. I thought that was very interesting.
Because of science.
Yeah, that's the catchphrase is because of science.
She blinds people.
And they do a lot of Star Wars stuff about what lightsabers can and cannot cut through, and the science of a lightsaber, and how it probably can't be made with the technology we have today, but it probably will be made in the future.
As people will keep trying to make one.
Basically, what he said, because no one wants to live in a world where there's no lightsabers, so they'll keep making them or trying to make them. But go check him out, guys. He's a fun guy to watch. Very entertaining. He does a little sketch things. He draws, makes diagrams out. He is very smart. Does a lot of science because science. So go check him out. That's all I got.
I'd like to give a shout out to the Nixon Presidential Library, who just had a multi-million-dollar remodel not too long ago. Can't wait to check it out.
Oh, there you go. Read, people. Read.
If we're naming channels that help you out learning, a guy that I'm very fond of is called History with Hilbert. He does a lot of visuals. He keeps it short, keeps it on fact. But I will warn you, a lot of it is ancient history.
Yeah.
I'm just going to warn you because I'm an Anglo-Saxon linguist fan, so you can also get your fix there.
Whatever it takes. Anyway, well, that'll do it for us for this episode of the Force Friday Show, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. We're still trying to please comment. Not just friends of ours, but we want people. We want the rest of the audience out there to comment to tell us how much you love us and how much you don't love us. What we got wrong, what we got right. We love you guys, and as always, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.